What's going on, everybody? This is Mike, and this is RetroGameFix.com Serial at Night. This is episode number 42, and we're doing two days in a row. 2 days in a row. Mostly because there was plenty of news last week that I didn't get to cover, and also I have some more thoughts on the PlayStation 4 Pro, obviously, and I want to get some of those thoughts out there. I'm still a bit conflicted, but what better place to talk it out than on the podcast? So let's get to it. Anyway, let's start with here's what we're going to cover today. So I didn't get the chance to talk about the Nintendo Direct that happened last Wednesday or Thursday, I believe. There's some PlayStation 4 delays that have come up, and I want to talk a little bit, specifically Gran Turismo Sport. I want to talk a little bit about that because I'm a huge sim racing guy, if you've watched our YouTube videos. And then some news with Ark Survival Early Access, and them providing DLC. And then some, and then we'll get into some more conversation about the PS4 and some comments that came after the show. From Andrew House from Sony. So let's jump right in. Let's get into the Nintendo Direct. So last week, Nintendo made sure prior to their Direct to make sure that we knew there was going to be no Nintendo NX news in the Nintendo Direct. That's actually fine with me. I want Nintendo NX news, but it's fine that they come out and say, hey, there's not going to be NX news here, and so don't ask us about NX news. So they went out and got ahead of it. So first things first, they announced a Pikmin for the Nintendo 3DS. Pikmin is awesome, but this is going to be more of a side-scroller, or it is going to be a side-scrolling Pikmin game, not the kind of strategy / action style, I guess, not so much action of the Wii fame, GameCube fame, but nevertheless, it looks really nice. I'm excited for that. First, I'll also say, it's nice to actually still get some 3DS stuff, and not knowing what the Nintendo NX is going to be. There's a lot of these 3DSs out there, and so, staying up front on some of this stuff and making sure, hey, we're still going to have stuff coming for you, I think is actually pretty cool. The other big news was Mario Sports Superstars. It's going to be 5 sports. This one kind of caught me by surprise. It's going to be quote from their announcement on Nintendo.com on their blog. It says, this 5-sport compilation is scheduled to launch next spring. Great. The game includes full-fledged versions, so implying that these are full-fledged games, which is great, of baseball. Sure. Tennis. Makes sense. Golf. Yeah. 11-on-11 soccer. Made sure they got that out there. And horse racing. I'm a little curious to see how that performs. Horse racing. Not exactly. I'm not super excited about horse racing, but is what it is. Again, I will pick it up. I love the Mario sports games, and if here's a compilation of some of the games I can get on the go, sign me up. I even like the baseball game on GameCube. Posted a couple pictures. I actually just got it a few months ago, and I've played it quite a bit. Look. I love the Mario Sports. I even love the Wii U Tennis, Mario Tennis on Wii U. I don't usually come in with those super high expectations. If I can go into those Mario Sports games and just have a good time, I chalk it up as a win, and I think that's what this is going to be. We've got Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World. So Yoshi's Woolly World obviously came out on Wii U. Fantastic game. This time they're going to give us extra stages for Poochie, and I think there's going to be an accommodating or a provided amiibo Poochie and Yoshi as well for the 3DS. Again, great game. I love seeing the ports, especially for those people that don't have a Wii U. Here's a chance to jump in and play one of the best games on the Wii U. Also, Street Pass. They upped your Street Pass lobby from 10 to 100. I don't care. I don't Street Pass. I just play the games. Whatever. For those that Street Pass, though, that's probably nice, so you don't always have to go into your lobby and clear it out every time you get 10 people in it. I live on a busier road, and mine fills up to 10. Oddly enough, actually pretty quick. I'm kind of in a smaller neighborhood, but by the police station and the city park and the fire department, and so I actually get Street Passes with just my 3DS just chilling in my office. And then some of the biggest news of the show, there was some Pokemon stuff. I don't really want to speak to that too much. This could be blasphemy. I didn't play a lot of Pokemon growing up, so I don't have a lot there. Actually, let's fire down the list of other things. I want to get into Mario Maker for the 3DS, but I want to hit on some of the other things from and the new Nintendo Galaxy SL, but I want to hit on a few of the other things. Now, Disney Magic World 2, Yokai Watch 2, Sonic Boom Fire and Ice, Dragon Quest 7, Mario Party Star Rush, Pokemon Sun and Moon, obviously, Animal Crossing New Leaf, and then some DLC for Hyrule Warriors, which I actually really enjoy on Wii U. I haven't tried it on the new 3DS because I don't have it on the 3DS, but maybe I'll check that out. Phoenix Wright and Tank Troopers Ever Oasis, Picross 3D Round 2. They had a lot of stuff they threw out there. For me, yes, I could probably touch on some of that stuff, but it's not things that I'm real well versed in and probably doesn't do a lot of good. I'm sure that if you're super interested in that stuff, Radio Free Nintendo podcast usually will do a hell of a lot better job speaking to the details of that than I'm going to be able to do. But the big announcement game-wise was Super Mario Maker, for the 3DS. When I first saw this pop up, I was completely on board, and I don't make levels on the Wii U version, but I do love to play people's levels or search for levels, whatever else might be. So when I saw this pop up on the 3DS, I was like, okay, this is actually super cool. Maybe I will actually make some levels now that I can bring this thing on the go. Maybe, have some downtime at work, mess around with it, whatever it might be. Until they threw out the hugest caveat of all that, yes, you can make levels. No, you can't upload them to the internet. So I'm kind of like, well, what the hell is the point? But for me, I would have bought it either way. If they would have came out and said, hey, we're going to make a 3DS, Super Mario for 3DS, you actually can't make the levels, but you can play all of the compatible levels from Wii U, I would have been totally fine with that. But, I guess the fact that maybe they're giving you the option to build levels, hopefully it'll get patched in later. But you can't upload them. But you can play a lot of the compatible levels from the Wii U, so there's going to be plenty to play. You're going to be able to do the 100 Mario Challenge, and then they're also going to have medal courses, which essentially give you objectives to do within Nintendo-made courses, and you try to get through those. And I think there's actually going to be 100 of those as well. Examples would be collecting all of the coins in the level or defeating all the enemies, stuff like that. And as far as Mario games go, at least on the 3DS, hell, sign me up. I'm in for that. I think for those that are more interested in the level building, it's going to be a disappointment that they can't actually upload it to the internet, but so be it. I can play some Super Mario on the go with a lot of the levels that are available on the Wii U. Sorry, I'm not good at words today. So awesome. I'll take it, until we find out more about the NX. It's nice to at least have something coming out from Nintendo to at least play on the handheld. And then the big hardware announcement was the Nintendo 3DS Galaxy SL. I guess, all right. It's a Galaxy 3DS XL. There was some features, but I don't care about another 3DS, especially the XL. I've said this in the past podcast, but when I got the smaller version, I was quite excited to have the smaller 3DS. I feel like it fits better in my hand, so I don't necessarily feel it's necessary to have my XL. Here's the thing: if Nintendo had their S together, I would be more than happy to actually run with two 3DSs. But since I can't have one account and download to multiple systems, it's kind of BS. So, is what it is. It's purple, which is awesome. I love purple because I love Prince and everything else. But, yeah, is what it is. I guess yeah, whatever. 3DS XL, new one, is what it is. So, no Nintendo news, but moving on. Ark Survival. So, if you haven't heard of this game, Ark Survival is a how do I describe it? It's essentially just a kind of a survival game, prehistoric dinosaurs, all that. It's kind of prehistoric survival dinosaur game, essentially. And so this game has been in early access for a while now, and I believe it's $30 to get early access. So essentially, with the early access for these games, if you haven't done it before, you get unfinished products of the game, beta releases, alpha releases, and you can provide feedback about the builds. So essentially, you're doing quality assurance, you're doing QA, you're doing beta testing on a regular basis for these companies. And so the game is still in early access. I'm just trying to find out who the dev is. I forgot actually who the dev is. Nevertheless, the game's still in early access, and they came out and announced DLC for $20 for an early access game when they haven't even provided a finished product that people have already paid for. This is absolutely freaking ridiculous. What's even more mind-boggling is they have a statement on the Steam page about why early access, and like, hey, imagine this, blah, 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 sign up to do these dinosaurs. How long is this going to be in early access? Approximately a year. They planned on the full release in June. We're a few months past June. And instead of going and getting the rest of the game finished up, they actually had the balls to say, hey, we're not even out of early access, but hey, do you want to actually buy some finished DLC for the game? It's actually pretty mind blowing to me. So yeah, Ark, you can't make it up. Third, Gran Turismo. I like Gran Turismo. I like racing games. One of the reasons I went with Xbox One, one of the reasons I bought the Xbox One was because I love racing games, and it has Forza and regular racing game releases on it. Something that Sony hasn't been able to say for quite a while, because Gran Turismo generally takes like 7 freaking years to make. And so there was supposed to be a Gran Turismo Sport coming out this year, and it doesn't look like that's going to happen. It actually got delayed, and they didn't put a date on it. So we're now 3.5 years into the PlayStation 4's life cycle. We don't have a Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo's now gotten delayed, and at the same time, you will now be on, was it the 4th racing release on the Xbox One? So you had Forza 5, Forza Horizon 2, Forza 6, and then Forza Horizon 3 coming out. So we're now on the 4th Forza game coming up end of the month, I believe, for Forza on the Xbox One, but Sony can't even get one Gran Turismo out the door. It's disappointing, and it's one of the reasons I remember early on in the PlayStation's 4 life cycle, I was conflicted on if I should get the Thrustmaster TX wheel for the Xbox One, which also is compatible with the PC, or the PS4, PS3, which is also compatible with the PC. At the time, I was quite a bit bigger PlayStation fan because I really enjoyed my PS3. I got the PS4 first. And with no actual announcement for any Gran Turismos, or other than there's Drive Club came out, but other than that, I decided that I was going to go buy an Xbox One for Forza 5, and I got a new racing cockpit, Thrustmaster TX wheel, T3PA Pro pedals, a TH8A shifter, and I called it a day, and I couldn't be happier. Combined with all of the racing games on PC, I am in sim racing heaven for the last 3.5 years. All the while, Sony has delivered Drive Club. There's been a couple Need for Speeds, which come on multiple platforms, and they've delayed Gran Turismo once more. What the hell? Seriously, I still enjoy my PlayStation 4, but what the hell? They gotta be. I don't know what level of simulation they think they're getting out of Gran Turismo that either A, you can't find on PC with your iRacings of the world, or B, that Forza can't do, pumping them out in 2-year life cycle, 2-year cycles with Forza Proper and Forza Horizon. Speaking of delays, and we'll get to maybe why there's a reason for this in a moment. Horizon Zero Dawn got delayed. This is disappointing. This kind of brings me back to, like, what the hell are people playing on PS4? There has not been a ton of exclusives. Yes, I get the indie stuff. But as far as first-party exclusives, there's been a lot that I enjoy, but nothing that's been particularly groundbreaking. And has really changed the game. And maybe that's just some of the space we're in, but it's just constantly delays and just not a lot of turnaround on some of this first party stuff. It's delayed till February 2017. So people are saying, well, why are all these games getting delayed? And coincidentally, they're also getting delayed around the launch of the PlayStation 4 Pro. Could it be the reason? And someone on Twitter had mentioned this to me yesterday as well, and I put it on the podcast from yesterday. Could this be a reason? I sure as hell hope not, but maybe. And Colin Moriarty from Kind of Funny Games, I think, put it nicely. Let me see if I can find his quote. But essentially, it was the fact that, these gaming companies are just so absorbed with throwing more power at games that they're actually not making better games or different experiences. They're just trying to make them look prettier and better, and they're just throwing power at it. And I don't disagree with that take. Here's the thing. I still love power, right? I still like my games to look ridiculously awesome. So I have a PC. But I completely understand that the PlayStation 4 Pro gets announced. And it's supposed to take advantage of, essentially it's for the 4K TV user. It's $399. It's actually not a bad value. Upscales to 4K. It sounds like. They didn't specifically say those words, but it's technically a 4K upscaler with HDR. $399, no 4K Blu-ray player. People can say, hey, there's not physical media anymore. Nope. People aren't really probably even buying the 4K Blu-ray discs. But here's part of the problem that I have with the PlayStation 4K. I actually don't even have a problem that it exists. I just didn't think it actually needed its own press conference. But so here, this is from Andrew House with an interview with the Guardian. Our feeling is, again, Andrew House. Our feeling is that while physical media continues to be a big part of the game's business, we see a trend on video towards streaming. Certainly with our user base, it's the second biggest use case for people's time on the system, so we place more emphasis in that area. And that was his answer in a question posed about the 4K Blu-ray. And there's another one. I just want to. He also said that. Here we go. This is about so essentially the entire. I apologize. The entire conference, they were kind of talking about alluding to future-proofing the PS4 and saying, hey, this is for the pro gamer that wants better. But it's also going to be able to adopt TVs as people over the next few years, as generations buy 4K TVs. But he says that their approach is not reactive this time around. And that the PlayStation 4 was in place before the Xbox Scorpio was announced. Here's the thing about reactive and future-proofing. I just don't feel like you can say we're trying to future-proof the system, but we're not being reactive. Well, I mean, I guess not. I don't know. I mean, still don't understand how you didn't throw a 4K Blu-ray in there. And I don't think that's an expectation that is too far-fetched if you're pitching the capabilities of this 4K player. I also think that's probably why it's called the PlayStation 4 Pro. Not to have a 4K Blu-ray. I probably wouldn't even use it, but it should probably be there, especially since your competitors have it at $100 less. Here's the thing. It's $399. Console gamers have an expected price point that works right now, and I think $399 is that price point. At that price, this is making the assumption Microsoft can get the Xbox Scorpio early next year down to $399. But if there has to be price parity between the consoles on the market, in this instance, Xbox and PlayStation, if they have to be $399, there's not going to be a huge power differentiator between the two systems. They can't stuff enough power into the box at that price where one of them's going to be able to say, we've got way more power than the other one. It's just not going to happen. Now, what could happen is there might be key differentiators like 4K Blu-rays, different networking capabilities, different upscaling, HDR support, what have you. Some of that stuff can obviously be patched in via firmware, but I mean, that's it in a nutshell. There's not a ton that they can do. Now, as far as me buying one, I still might buy one because I still need another PS4. Like I said, I'm not offended that it exists. I don't think it's necessary either, right? I don't. I think the vocal minority that was complaining about resolution and frame rates, I think they maybe overestimated the need for that. But throwing power at games at this point, I don't think, does a lot. Here's the thing. And again, I know PC gaming is more expensive, but if resolution and power is something people really care about, chances are they're going to go to the PC to get it, because even if you get the most powerful console out, it's still not going to look better than what you can get on PC. It's just not. But you're going to have to pay for that kind of cutting-edge technology. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm still not as down on it as a lot of people. Look, it's an option. People want options. Is it going to cause market confusion? Probably. It's coming out alongside the PlayStation VR, which they're asking another $400 for. Is it going to slow down Sony's pace? I don't think so. I mean, they probably were like, hey, they're rolling out the PS4 Slim at $299. That does everything the current PS4 does. It's going to get UHD patched in, which is essentially pointless on a 1080p console, but they're going to patch it in. And then they're saying, hey, for $399, if you want stuff that might perform better, look, publishers aren't required to use it, but they're saying that moving forward, most games are going to support it. Probably why Gran Turismo and Horizon Zero Dawn got delayed, because they're first-party games that really need to show off the power of this thing. Pay an extra $100 and you're going to get that extra power. And I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that'll do it just out of principle because they want the most powerful system, just from a buzzword standpoint. And then there's 4K TV owners that, here's the thing. If you've got a nice 4K TV, newer, larger screen that supports HDR, that extra $100 probably is not going to break the bank, right? Now, if you're only going to buy one console, I I guess I'd probably go with the Xbox One S, where I get the 4K Blu-ray support. But I don't just have one console. I'll probably, get the Neo, and then my Xbox stuff, I've said it before, but I'll probably do most of that on PC, and so be it. And if I want a 4K Blu-ray player, yeah, it's going to end up being the Xbox One S. So I would just have multiple systems at that point, mostly because I'm an idiot and it's latest, greatest, best type thing. But anyway, I didn't get to cover a lot of that in a ton of detail. Here's the thing. We're going to cover more on the next episode of Retro Jones, which will be out Sunday evening or Monday afternoon, depending on, we record those on Sunday nights. And so, we'll get that recorded and get that out the door this weekend. So we'll jump into more details on some of this stuff then. But until Sunday, this is Serial at Night, episode number 42. See ya!